Hello there, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really glad you're here. But first, I want you to know if you're in the right place. So, if you have anything that's bothering you, like you feel bloated, you feel tired throughout the day, you have any skin conditions, you have headaches, you feel sad out of the blue for no reason, if any of those things are happening to you and you got checked, you went to the doctor, you had blood work, and they told you everything was okay, and you still don't have an answer for any of those things, well, you are in the right place because most likely that's coming from your food. It doesn't matter if you're not allergic, if you don't have intolerances, the food can still hurt you in many different ways because there's many ingredients hidden that we don't know about and that can be as harmful as poison. So we're going to find out about that today. We're going to figure it out. I'm going to teach you how to look for those and how they affect you so you can start feeling better right away. The headaches, the bloating, the tiredness, all of those things can go away by changing your eating habits. You will see. All right, so hopefully you are in the right place. Let's keep going. First, I want to reintroduce myself. If you don't know me, my name is Camila Lopez. I am a certified health coach. Came to the US when I was 19. I've been here for 23 years. Yeah, you're doing your math, I know. So I came here, I was like super thin. I was around 98 pounds. And then, I was introduced to the American diet and started gaining and gaining and gaining weight because, I was making $10 an hour. I was working late. I didn't know how to cook. So I had to go through a drive-through every night. So I was having burgers, fries, and Coke for dinner. And then my breakfast was probably sugary cereals. So as you can see on those pictures, that's how I got here. That's what I became with time. Not only that, what matters the most is that I was pre-diabetic. I was always tired. I was not in the mood for anything because I was so self-conscious that, I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to go to the beach. I didn't want to go to the pool because I was embarrassed of my body. I was embarrassed of the way I looked. So I was always sad. Um, but I didn't know what to do. Nobody guided me. So of course I did what everybody did. I tried Herbalife, so I did shakes, I did Atkins, I bought the bars, the shakes, the supplements, all of these things. I bought the pills that are supposed to help you burn fat. I went for body treatments. I tried diets, so many things, but guess what? Nothing worked. Remember this, 97% of diets fail, because you're deprived, because it's not sustainable. So it didn't work for me. I went back to my weight. I went back to feeling horrible. It took a long time for me to figure out that changing my lifestyle was what was going to help me. So years after struggling, I gave up. I really gave up. I thought, it just wasn't for me until when I got pregnant with my first daughter. My mom came home with the news that she had cancer. That's when I realized I had to do something about it. This was no joke. This was no longer about wearing a bikini, going to the beach. This was about my health. And no good was coming from what I was doing. So with that scare, I remember my mom told me, I read on a book that if you change your eating habits, you can cure yourself. And I was like, that sounds crazy. Let's read the book. So I did, and it changed my life. As of then, I started researching, going to seminars, studying everything I could. That's my mom. I'm happy to share that she is cancer-free. This was 11 years ago. She's absolutely healthy. She's a yoga instructor. She's amazing. But she was the one that took me into this path. And that's the reason why I'm sharing the story with you. I started helping people with what I learned in all these years of research, because what I do is something totally different. I don't believe in diets. I don't believe in pills or supplements or anything like that. I grabbed all my research and came up with a program based on science that has nothing to do with diet. So this is a brand new thing. And as you can see, it works. This is Michelle. She's a working mom with very little time. She applied what I taught her and look at her awesome results. This is Paola, another of my awesome clients. Same thing, 2 kids, basketball mom. She's all over the place. She works. She's so busy. She has so many things on her plate. Guess what? She learned this brand new method and transformed her life. It has been, I think, 2 or 3 years since her transformation. She kept it off. We're actually good friends now. This is Jenny. Jenny used to go to the gym every day. And even though she was not obese or she was not super overweight, she was not accomplishing what she wanted. You know, again, she did what I told her, and boom, there she is. Total transformation, amazing body. She looks fit. Now she sees results from her exercise. So, guys, what I'm about to share with you is a piece of the pie. But guess what? It's one of the most important pieces of the pie that are gonna help you get those results that you want so bad and feel better. This is based on research, books, seminars, courses. I studied nutrition. I had studied everything there is and came up with this amazing method that I'm gonna share with you today. And first of all, I want you to know what the problem is. Ingredients. That is the number one reason why people feel uncomfortable. They feel bloated, tired, it hurts, they have pain, they have heartburn, they have so many things. There's a lot of lack of information. Nobody's telling you these things. Guess what? Companies want to sell. So that is the reason why they're not telling you these things. Okay, so they give you a bunch of lies for you to buy their products so they can make money. But guess what? You're the one being affected. Okay, so we're going to learn today how that's happening. Let's get into it. All right. First of all, I want you to know all of our products, or most of it, is full of pesticide. Okay, there's pesticide on fruits, veggies, everywhere. We need to avoid that. And that is the number one reason why we should be buying organic. Okay. Now, do we need to buy everything organic? No. Anything that has a thick shell, something that you're going to peel, like a banana, like a pineapple, for example, you don't need to buy organic. Why? Because the pesticide is going to go away on the shell, on the skin. Okay. But anything with a thin skin that can absorb the pesticide, like let's say a strawberry, a blueberry, leaves like spinach, arugula, any of those, you do need to buy organic. Scientists have found 27 different pesticides in one strawberry. So you see, it is a huge, huge deal. So I highly recommend that those leaves, those thin skin fruits or veggies, that you buy organic. Okay, so tip number one, this is a very important one, and this is one of the things that are going to help you start feeling better. Because if you're consuming pesticide on a daily basis, that could be one of the reasons why you're not feeling okay. All right, number two tip that I want to give you is GMO things. What are GMO grains, for example? Those are grains that have been modified in a lab for 2 reasons. Number one, so they can produce their own pesticide. Number two, so they resist climate changes. Okay, so those two things are very strong. Listen to what I'm saying. They're resisting climate changes and they're producing their own pesticide. What are they putting inside of those for that to happen? So that is the reason why GMO grains are so toxic and cause inflammation and are linked to cancer and many other health problems. Okay, so always buy non-GMO when it comes to your grains. Okay, just make sure you do that because again, that could also be the reason why you're not feeling okay, right? So now let's dive into those labels, which is one of the most important parts of this training. Okay, so first of all, there's the nutrition facts and then there's the ingredients. I always want you to start with the nutrition facts. Okay, so you see it on the right. But first, let me tell you something. Never believe what the box says on the cover. If you look at the cereal, they make it sound healthy and they make it very appealing. So kids are drawn to it and they want it. It's red, it's bright, it has a beautiful bunny, you know? So don't get fooled by that. This says no high fructose corn syrup, no colors from artificial sources, no artificial flavors. Come on, this is as artificial as it gets. All right, and then the box says that it has 130 calories, which is not correct. So I'm going to show you how to figure that out and what you can believe. All right, so let's get into it. Let's go to the nutrition facts. The first thing I want you to see is the serving size. Always look at that. Why? Because that is the portion that all the information under is based on. You see, so here they're telling us it's a cup, right? So if you've ever had cereal, you know that you don't have just a cup. You have at least 3 to fill up a bowl. Let's say 3. Some people do 4, 5, maybe less. But let's say 3 because that's kind of standard. Okay, so the calories, the fat, everything that you're going to see after are based on those 3 cups of cereal that you're going to have. Okay, in this case, the serving size is 1. So all the numbers are shown for a cup of cereal. All right, so let's get started. First thing we're going to look at is calories, because as women, we are obsessed with those. We want to count calories. But let me tell you something. Don't count calories. Eat well so you don't have to worry about those. Okay, but in this case, they're telling us it has 130 calories. But if you see correctly, that's without milk. If you look at it next to it, to those 130 calories, it says 170. That's with skim milk. Okay, but remember, if I'm having 3 cups, I have to multiply by 3. So that means it's 510 calories instead of 170 or 130 without the milk. You see, 130 is what the box said. You see how it's misleading, how they don't want you to know the real amount of calories. So again, if we're having 3 cups, we're going to multiply that 170 by 3. That's 510 calories. That is a lot. Okay? See how it changes. Now, if we keep going down, you're going to see something that says total fat, right? And then there's the different types of fat. So the first one is saturated fat. That one, together with the cholesterol, so that one's at the bottom, it's highlighted. Those two have been portrayed as bad guys. Like, oh my God, if it has cholesterol, you have to be careful because your cholesterol is going to go up. Or if it's saturated fat, that's really bad for you. That's not true. Saturated fat and cholesterol are needed by our bodies to produce hormones. So we actually need those. The bad cholesterol is the one that I produce in my body, okay? Not the one that I eat from foods. So those two, don't worry about them unless they're higher than 20%, okay? Other than that, you're good to go. I honestly barely look at those, okay? But the next one, which is trans fat, that one is really bad. So anything with trans fat, please try to avoid. So always look at that and make sure it's 0 grams. You don't want any trans fat in your food because it's extremely toxic and bad for your health. Okay. Now, right under that one, you're going to see polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. Those are good for you. That's what's found in olive oil, avocado. So they're fantastic. So if there's a lot, that's great. So again, you don't need to worry about those. A product like this that's artificial, most likely is not going to have any. But if it did, fantastic. Okay. Now, right under cholesterol, which I had explained, it's sodium. All right. So sodium, you do need to be very careful about that one. Okay. I'm going to tell you why. Because sodium makes you retain fluids. Okay. That means that if you're retaining a lot of water and retaining a lot of fluids, your blood level is going to increase. And that's going to make circulation harder. So your heart is going to work harder as well, which is not good. It's not safe. That's the reason why sodium is not good for your heart. It can raise your blood pressure. So be very, very careful with this one. Actually, it's going to make you bloated as well because you're retaining fluids. It's going to make you heavier. You don't want that. Okay, so in this case, they're telling us there's 160 milligrams of sodium in 1 cup, right? Remember, I'm multiplying by 3. So in that case, that's 480 milligrams of sodium in a bowl of cereal. And just so you know, anything above 120 milligrams, it's considered high. So any product that you grab and it's higher than 120 milligrams of sodium, that means it's really, really high. So this is 480. This is crazy high sodium. And we're feeding our children with this, sending them to school with a whole bunch of calories and a whole bunch of sodium, retaining fluids. That's not safe and it's not healthy. Okay. All right. So if we continue, there's potassium. Potassium is healthy. If there's any in the product, that's fantastic. So again, we're not going to worry about that. And then we have total carbs, right? And there's the percentages. I don't look at that. It tells you the grams. It tells you the percentages. I honestly don't look at that. I'm going to tell you why. Because what matters to me is not the percentage of carbs. It's the quality, okay? So if you are looking at a product that it's full of wheat, it's full of corn, it's full of all of these carbs that turn into sugar and that may cause inflammation, and it's not good. But if you're looking at a product in which the carbs are quinoa, are nuts and seeds and I don't know, maybe brown rice or any healthy carb, then that's a different story. So I honestly don't look at those percentages. I look at the ingredients, which we're going to do in a little bit. Okay. So if you continue going down, there's fiber. So the more, the merrier. And then there's sugar. This one we do have to pay a lot of attention to. I'm going to tell you why. Because the grams of sugar that you see there, in this case, it's 10, remember, times 3, that's 30 grams of sugar. You don't know if they're true until you look at the ingredients, okay? So 10 grams times 3, 30, that's already a lot. Just so you have an idea, a person should not have more than 25 grams of sugar on the entire day. So 30, that's pretty high. Besides, it may not be true. And actually, it's not true. I'm going to tell you ahead of time. Why? Let's look at the ingredients and I'll show you why. All right. So again, 10 grams. Let's go to the ingredients on the right column at the very top. The first ingredient that you see there is whole grain corn. So let me tell you 2 things about corn. Corn, first of all, is GMO, pretty toxic, may cause inflammation. And second is starchy, meaning that starch is going to turn into sugar just like any other type of carb, okay? So when you see whole grain corn, you should be seeing sugar. So that's one ingredient that turns into sugar. The second ingredient is sugar, so there goes 2. The third one is cornmeal, 3. Then corn syrup, which is sugar. Rice bran turns into sugar. So that's 5 ingredients that turn into sugar. Okay, so those 10 grams that you saw there are only referring to the word sugar. But no one's taking into account that that corn in all its forms and the rice are going to turn into sugar. So you see, this doesn't have just 30 grams of sugar in those 3 cups that you're having. This has way more because all the ingredients turn into sugar. And if we keep going with the ingredients, you're going to see canola oil, which is extremely toxic. And then you're going to see salt. No wonder why the sodium was so high. Then you're going to see colors, and then you're going to see other chemicals that have been added to the product to preserve, which again may cause inflammation, cancer, and any other types of diseases. Okay, so as you can see from the ingredients, there's not even one thing of nutritional value. That's why cereal is considered one of the worst meals ever. And one more thing to take into account, ingredients are in order of quantity, meaning what you see first is what's the most in the product, and then so on and so forth. So this is a whole bunch of corn with sugar, salt, and some coloring, why not, and some chemicals. So again, this is not safe. It's not good food, all right? So in order to finish the rest of the nutrition facts, because I don't want to leave anything out. If we keep going there's other carbs, and then there's protein. Okay, so protein is always welcome. It's always good. So if it has some protein, that's fantastic. Fantastic. In this case, there's 1 gram. That's not going to make a difference. So honestly, don't even look at it. All right. So after that, you see a whole bunch of vitamins. If you happen to be a mom, you know, we get excited with those, or a dad. We see them and we're like, oh, okay, so yeah, it has some sugar, but you know what? I'm giving my child, or I'm eating myself, a whole bunch of nutrients and vitamins. But guess what? That's not true. I'm going to tell you 3 things about those. Number 1, if you look at the percentages, they are so low that that's not going to make any difference. Just to give you an idea, if you were to take vitamin C to help your immune system, to try not to get sick, you need to take at least 2,000 milligrams daily, okay? If you look at the vitamin C on this product, it's just 10%. That's not going to do anything for you, okay? Number 2, the quality of the vitamins is so low that, again, they just don't do their job. And I know this because a box of cereal is under $5. It's 4 something on average, right? So if they were to invest high quality in high quality vitamins and minerals, the box of cereal would need to be at least, I don't know, $80, because look at all the things that they're putting there. There's a whole bunch of things in there. So imagine if they spend the money in high quality vitamins and minerals. Again, you wouldn't be able to afford the box of cereal, okay? All right, now, one more thing to know about those. When the vitamins are added to the product, our bodies do not absorb them, or they absorb like a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage, which again, doesn't do anything for you, okay? So again, don't fall for those. They don't do anything for you. And let me go over the label real quick. This is how I always do it. Little recap here. Always look at the serving size. Then from there, go straight to the trans fat to make sure it's 0. Then look at the sodium, make sure it's under 120 milligrams. Then look at the sugar. Make sure it's, I don't know, 6 grams tops, you know, not a lot. And remember, if you're multiplying, do your math. You don't want to exceed 25 grams on the entire day. From there, go straight to the ingredients, read and remember, carbs turn into sugar, starch turns into sugar. So anything that you see there that's starchy or that it's carbs will turn into sugar. Take that into account and remember it's in order of quantity. Okay, so that's how you read your labels. That's the information that you know to make good decisions. Okay, one more thing about sugar that I'm going to share with you. This is like a bonus, an extra thing that I'm giving you. Sugar has 35 different names. So whenever you see a product that says no sugar added, please go to the ingredients and find what's in there. Because most likely there's going to be an artificial sweetener. Those have been linked to cancer, to inflammation, to a whole bunch of health problems. So be very, very careful. Okay, so these are the different names that companies use in order to replace the word sugar. Okay, so brown sugar, people think it's healthier. It's the same thing. It has the same impact in your body. Dextrose, fructose, fruit juice concentrate, glucose, high fructose corn syrup, honey, sorbitol, sucrose, xylitol, coconut sugar, and erythritol. That one's highlighted in red because it's so bad for your health. It's not even funny. It was originally a pesticide. That's what it was created for, to kill ants and roaches. But guess what? It's poison. You would never put a little bit of ant poison on your coffee, would you? You see, so it's really, really bad. So always beware of that guy and try to avoid it because it's very popular. The ones I read that are highlighted are the most common ones, okay? But here's the list. You can take a picture, keep those in mind. When you see them, run. Okay, so summary, ingredients that you should try to avoid. Starch, again, because it turns into sugar. So whenever you see tapioca starch, potato starch, corn starch, those are the same as sugar. Anything made out of wheat, that will turn into sugar. So try to avoid that. Corn, remember, starchy. Maltodextrin comes from corn. Same thing, that starch will turn into sugar in your system, okay? Oats, I know we think they're healthy, but guess what? They turn into sugar. They're a carb as well. Artificial sweeteners like erythritol, aspartame, pretty bad for your health. Oils, canola oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, those vegetable oils are really toxic, really bad. And then lastly, high fructose corn syrup, okay? That one is very addictive. It's very bad for your health. So always try to avoid it, okay? All right, so one more thing that I want to explain to you about gluten, okay? So gluten, people think that if they're not allergic, they don't have to worry about it, okay? But let me tell you something. It causes inflammation of the brain and a lot of neurological problems, okay? What is an inflammation of the brain? What could happen if I have an inflammation of the brain? Well, you can get Parkinson, you can get multiple sclerosis, autism, Alzheimer's, depression. Those come from the brain, okay? You can have an inflammation on the brain and not feel it for years. And then out of the blue, boom, you develop any of these, okay? How do I know that this is affecting me? Well, if you have headaches, brain fog, nutritional deficiencies, skin rashes, sugar cravings, arthritis, joint pain, depression, anxiety, you can't focus, you can't concentrate, you know, autoimmune diseases, any of these things could mean that you have an inflammation of the brain, okay? Gluten hides in ice cream, vodka, oats, mayonnaise, beer, most places that you would never think. You know why? Because it's addictive. So companies extract it from the wheat and they add it to the products. So be very, very careful. Now, always try to avoid it, okay? Try to look for anything that's gluten-free certified. That's the seal in the middle. Try to look for things that are non-GMO, like we talked about at the beginning, and try to look for things that are organic. So these three guys are going to be your best friends. Look for these. Shop in a very smart way so you can start feeling better. Okay, so don't forget that. Very, very important. Your body is like a chemistry lab. Depending on what you put in it, you're going to make explosions, great things, or awful combinations, you know? So it's totally up to you. I hope you enjoyed the training. I know it was a lot of information, all pretty useful. Start making those changes. Try to avoid gluten, buy non-GMO, try to buy organic. Read those labels and you will see how you can manage to cure most of your symptoms just by avoiding all of these things that I mentioned today. You're going to start feeling great. Please share your accomplishments, share everything. As a courtesy for attending this training, I would love to give you something amazing, which is a free consultation. Okay, I can only do this for the first 50 people that send an email to that address, info@healthcoachcami.com. I'm sorry, I cannot do it for everyone because we're pretty booked up, but I will definitely do it for the first 50 people that send me that email saying I attended the labels training. I would like a free consultation. What would happen is we're going to meet in person. You're going to meet with me or someone from my team, which I promise you is almost the same. And we're going to go over what's bothering you. I'm going to give you some advice and I'm going to share with you your ideal weight. I'm going to show you if you're in the right place, where you need to go. Again, this is absolutely free, custom made for you. It's a chance for you to talk to me and see if I can help you and give you some guidance. Absolutely free. All right, so send an email to that address. You will receive an email back saying, we received your information. Please click on the link below to schedule your free consultation. It's going to take you to a calendar. You pick the right time, the right day, and boom, we meet through Zoom. We're going to be able to see each other. So it's a fantastic opportunity for you to express what you're feeling, for you to get some answers to those questions that you have, and of course, for you to feel better. So don't wait because spaces run by so quickly. They go by, they disappear in seconds. So go ahead and do it, and I will see you soon. It will be a pleasure to meet you. Once again, thank you. Thank you very much for attending the training. I look forward to meeting you, and I hope you feel amazing.